What if I told you that many of your thoughts, emotions, and everyday decisions might not even be yours? You may think you're afraid of failing, bad with money, that you love too much or shut down easily. But what if all of that is the result of things you inherited without even realizing? As kids, we learn by watching, by silence, by repeated phrases, by what's shown to us. You may have picked up your father's quiet anger, your mother's anxiety, or your grandfather's fear of dreaming, someone you may have never even met. We're not just talking about genetics, but about behaviors, beliefs, and emotional patterns passed down from generation to generation, an invisible inheritance that shapes how you love, argue, spend money, and even feel affection. Phrases like, "Money is hard to earn," "Real men don't cry," or "No one cares how you feel" may sound like casual sayings, but they become inner rules that control your life even now. You try to change, but something always pulls you back, like you're trapped in a script you didn't write. In this video, we're going to unpack all of it. We'll talk about copied emotions, belief phrases that become truth, identity stories passed down, family roles you never chose, love patterns that repeat, and health habits you never questioned. We'll also talk about dreams left unfinished by your ancestors that may now be calling your name, and the hidden talents buried in your family tree that you may carry inside without even knowing. This isn't about blaming your parents. It's about understanding, healing, and transforming. It's about breaking cycles, rewriting your story, and claiming what is truly yours. So if there's something inside you that doesn't feel right, a pain you can't explain, a pattern you can't seem to stop, stay with me. Because maybe, just maybe, what's holding you back didn't start with you, but it can end with you. Have you ever felt a burst of anger, anxiety, or even excitement that seemed to come out of nowhere? You might think it's just your personality or a bad day, but often, those intense emotions are ones you picked up from your parents. As children, we absorb emotions like a sponge. We watch how our parents react, and we copy those responses without even thinking. It becomes normal. If dad shut down during stress, or mom panicked when things went wrong, chances are you learned to do the same. And now, those old reactions may still be running the show, even if your life today is totally different. Take a moment and think. When you feel triggered, overwhelmed, or angry, does it feel familiar, even automatic? Try tracking those emotions for a few days. Each time something hits hard, pause, breathe, and write it down. Later, ask yourself, who did I see acting this way growing up? This simple practice helps you separate what's truly yours from what was copied. And with that awareness, you open the door to change. It might feel strange at first to respond differently. Instead of yelling, maybe you pause. Instead of shutting down, you speak. These small choices send a message to your nervous system. We're safe now. We can do things differently. One technique that helps is box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. This calms the body and breaks the emotional autopilot. You can also bring light to these patterns by reading books like It Didn't Start With You by Mark Wolin, or having honest conversations with friends or a therapist about what you're noticing. Even sharing one story from your childhood can help you connect the dots. You're not weak for feeling these things. You're brave for choosing to face them. And when you start shifting your emotions, it affects everything. Your energy, your relationships, your choices. So if your emotions often feel bigger than the moment, don't blame yourself. You might be carrying generations of reaction in your body. But now you can choose to stop, to breathe, and to respond with intention. And once you understand how emotions were passed down, the next step is to look at something just as powerful. The words and beliefs that were spoken over and over until they became your truth. Every family has its favorite sayings, simple phrases repeated so often they start to feel like facts. Money doesn't grow on trees. Real men don't cry. Life is hard for people like us. At first, they sound harmless, but over time, they sink in and become quiet rules you live by. You stop chasing dreams because you need to be realistic. You hold back emotions because crying is weakness. Without even noticing, these little sentences turn into invisible walls. Think about a phrase you heard growing up that still echoes in your head today. Whose voice is it? A parent? A grandparent? A teacher? And now ask yourself, is that phrase still helping you, or is it holding you back? Challenge it by replacing it with a new belief. For example, money is hard to earn becomes I can create new opportunities through effort and creativity. Try saying that new belief out loud each morning. It might feel strange at first, but your brain listens closely to repetition. You can even write it on a sticky note and place it on your mirror. The more you see and speak this new truth, the more your mind accepts it. Changing what you say to yourself is one of the most powerful shifts you can make. Also, pay attention to the phrases your friends or partners say all the time. You'll quickly notice how different sayings shape different lives. Some families grow up hearing, "Everything works out in the end." Others hear, "We never catch a break." Those two sentences create two completely different mindsets. So the words we carry aren't just sounds, they build the world we believe in. You don't have to repeat what you were taught if it no longer fits who you are. You can rewrite the script, update the language, and create new truths that empower you instead of limit you. Because after all, these beliefs aren't just words, they're the stories we tell ourselves about what's possible. And speaking of stories, let's go even deeper into the identity narratives passed down in families. The kind that shape who you believe you are, even before you get to decide for yourself. We're fighters. We always get the short end of the stick. In this family, we don't quit. These are more than just things people say. They're identity stories. Lines that get repeated again and again until they sink into your bones. They become part of how you see yourself, how you talk to yourself, and what you believe is possible. Even if the story isn't true anymore, you might still be living like it is. Maybe you were raised to believe your family is cursed with bad luck. So when something goes wrong, instead of finding a way out, you silently say, "Of course this would happen to me." Or maybe your family told you, "We're survivors," and now you feel like you always have to struggle to feel worthy. These identity stories can be empowering or quietly exhausting. The key is knowing which ones you're still carrying and whether they serve the life you want today. Here's a simple practice. Write down one sentence your family often says about who they are. Then ask yourself, do I believe this? Do I want to keep this? If not, write a new sentence, something that feels true to you. Maybe instead of, "We always struggle," it becomes, "We've been through a lot, but we rise." Speak it out loud. Say it until your nervous system believes it's real. Changing your identity story doesn't mean erasing your roots. It means honoring your history while giving yourself permission to grow beyond it. You can choose to evolve, to rewrite the narrative with more kindness and possibility. This isn't pretending. It's stepping into your truth with intention. And each time you act differently, the old story loses power over you. Because identity isn't fixed. It's not something you're trapped in. It's something you can rebuild, day by day, word by word. And as you begin to reshape your sense of self, you'll start to notice something else. The role you've been playing in your family all along. A role you didn't choose, but one that shaped everything. Every family has its own cast of characters. The responsible one, the peacemaker, the rebel, the funny one who keeps things light. And somewhere along the way, you were given a role too, maybe without ever realizing it. These roles are usually handed out in childhood, not based on who you are, but on what the family needed you to be. And even now, that old role might still be shaping your life. Maybe you were the one who always kept things together when everything was falling apart. Now you feel guilty resting or asking for help. Or maybe you were the quiet one, so now you struggle to speak up even when you have something important to say. The problem isn't just the role, it's believing that's all you are. Roles can become cages when you outgrow them, but keep wearing them anyway. Take a moment and ask yourself, what role did I play in my family growing up? Was I the problem solver, the caregiver, the invisible one? Now ask, do I still play that role in my adult life, at work, in relationships, in how I treat myself? If the answer is yes, ask yourself if it still serves you. And if it doesn't, give yourself permission to slowly step out of it. You're allowed to be more than the version of yourself your family once needed. You can be soft even if you were the strong one. You can rest even if you were the responsible one. You can be serious, silly, bold, creative, whatever fits who you are now. Releasing a role doesn't mean abandoning your family. It means becoming whole. And once you start seeing the role you were placed in, you begin to notice something even deeper. The way you learn to give and receive love based on those roles. Because love wasn't just felt, it was taught. And how you learned it then still shapes how you connect now. The way you give and receive love today wasn't random, it was taught. As children, we watched how affection, care, and attention were given or withheld. If love only came with achievement, you might now feel the need to earn your worth in relationships. If love felt distant or cold, you may find comfort in keeping people at arm's length. That early emotional map is still running quietly in the background of your adult life. Think back, how did your parents or caregivers show love? Was it hugs and kind words, or silence and sacrifice? Were emotions welcome, or were they met with discomfort or judgment? Now look at your current relationship. Do you notice the same patterns repeating? Awareness is the first step to change, and love is something that can be relearned. If you often feel anxious in relationships, like you're too much or not enough, pause and ask, whose version of love am I still trying to live up to? It might be time to rewrite what love means to you. Start small, by being kind to yourself, asking for what you need, or simply allowing someone to care for you without guilt. Every small act like this builds a new attachment map, one based on trust, not fear. Love is not supposed to feel like walking on eggshells. It doesn't have to mean overgiving, proving your value, or staying quiet to keep the peace. Healthy love includes space, presence, honesty, and mutual care. And just because you didn't grow up with it doesn't mean you can't create it now. You're not broken. You were just taught a version of love that didn't fit your heart. When you start to change how you connect, you change how you live. And once you shift how you love, it impacts everything, including how you take care of yourself. Because just like emotions and relationships, your health habits were also shaped long ago. The way you care for your body, what you eat, how you rest, how you move, didn't start with you. It likely started in your childhood, shaped by what you saw at home. If your parents skipped breakfast, rushed meals, or stayed up late watching TV, you probably learned to do the same. Even how you respond to sickness, whether you ignore it or take rest seriously, might be something you copied. These patterns often feel normal, even when they're hurting you. Ask yourself, what did health look like in your home growing up? Did people cook fresh food or rely on takeout? Was movement encouraged or avoided? Was rest respected or seen as laziness? You might be surprised how much of your current routine was never a conscious choice. It was simply passed down like furniture, used because it was already there. But the good news is, your habits can change. You can build a new relationship with your body, one that feels nourishing instead of draining. Start small. Drink more water, take a 10-minute walk, stretch in the morning. These acts may seem simple, but they speak volumes to your nervous system. They say, I'm here for you now. We're not surviving. We're healing. You don't have to do everything at once. This isn't about a perfect lifestyle. It's about awareness and compassion. The moment you choose to treat your body with respect, you begin breaking cycles of neglect. You become the first in your family to say, my well-being matters. That's not selfish, it's revolutionary. And as you begin to feel better physically, something else often wakes up too. Your sense of security, your confidence, and even your beliefs about what's possible. And nothing reveals those beliefs more clearly than how you think and feel about money. How you feel about money, whether it's safety, stress, guilt, or freedom, often comes from your early environment. You might not remember direct lessons, but you remember how money felt in the house. Maybe it was always tight, or maybe it came and went unpredictably. Some people grow up hearing, we can't afford it, while others see money used for control or silence. Over time, these moments turn into beliefs that shape every financial decision. Think back. What were the most common money phrases in your home? Things like, money is evil, we're not rich people, or save every penny. Do any of those ideas still live in your head when you're spending, saving, or investing today? Now ask yourself, are they helping you or limiting you? Because beliefs about money can either build your future or quietly sabotage it. You don't have to keep those old money scripts if they no longer serve you. You can replace fear with clarity, guilt with purpose, and scarcity with strategy. A good start? Track your spending for a week. Just observe, no judgment. See where your habits came from and where you want to make changes. Even small shifts like planning your purchases or setting a savings goal begin to rewrite your story. Also, consider learning what you were never taught. Books like The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel or videos on conscious finance can open your mind. Talk to someone who handles money differently than you. Ask what they learned, what they let go of. You'll start to realize it's not just about math, it's about mindset, memory, and meaning, and all of that can change, starting with a single decision. Because once you feel more grounded around money, you'll notice something else. You'll start facing challenges with more stability. And the way you handle conflict, whether you shut down, explode, or disappear, probably came from home too. How you handle conflict, whether you freeze, explode, avoid, or confront, was likely shaped in childhood. Maybe arguments at home were loud and chaotic, so now you either mimic that or avoid it at all costs. Or maybe conflict was buried in silence, and now speaking up feels like danger. These reactions don't mean you're broken, they just mean you were trained to survive, not express. But survival mode isn't where healthy communication lives. Ask yourself, what did conflict look like growing up? Were emotions allowed or punished? Did anyone apologize or take responsibility? Did you learn that being honest creates closeness, or that it leads to punishment? Now compare that to how you handle tension today. You might be surprised how often you're still following that childhood script. Breaking that pattern starts with noticing your reaction. Do you shut down when someone raises their voice? Do you go on the attack before you feel attacked? Practice pausing. Even 10 seconds of silence before responding can shift everything. And use simple phrases like, "I'm feeling overwhelmed," or "Can we talk about this calmly?" to create new space. Changing how you handle conflict takes time, especially if you've never seen it done in a healthy way. But healing doesn't mean doing it perfectly. It means showing up differently than before. You get to rewrite what conflict means. Not a threat, but an opportunity to be honest, to grow, to feel safe while being real. That's how trust is built, not through perfection, but through presence. And when you start changing how you handle hard moments, something beautiful happens. You stop reacting like a child protecting themselves and start responding like the adult you've become. And sometimes, in that stillness, something else rises. A quiet longing, a pull toward a dream you never chose, but always felt close. Have you ever felt drawn to something and didn't know why? A passion for music, a dream of traveling, a deep urge to write, create, or build something meaningful. Sometimes that pull isn't random. It's a dream passed down, one that someone in your family couldn't finish. Maybe your grandmother wanted to be a dancer but never had the chance. Maybe your father gave up art to pay the bills, and now you feel that same energy calling. These dreams often live quietly inside us, like seeds waiting for the right moment to grow. You might not even know where the desire came from. You just know it won't go away. And when you try to ignore it, life starts feeling dull, disconnected, or off track. That's because part of your purpose may be tied to giving voice to what your ancestors had to silence. And honoring their dreams doesn't mean living their life. It means continuing what they started in your own way. Try this. Ask your parents, grandparents, or relatives what dreams they had but never fulfilled. Look for patterns. Were there artists, builders, healers, teachers in your lineage? Now ask yourself, what do I feel called to create, explore, or become? Even a small step toward that calling can bring healing, not just to you, but to your whole family line. It's like giving breath to something that's been waiting a long time. You're not responsible for finishing someone else's journey, but if that dream speaks to you, it may be asking for new life through your hands. Maybe it's time to take that course, try that idea, or allow yourself to dream again. You are not too late. You are right on time to reclaim what was left behind. And sometimes, when you follow that path, you discover gifts you didn't even know you had. Some gifts run through families like invisible threads. A natural ear for music, a way with words, a gift for healing, a sharp sense of humor, or hands that just know how to build or fix things. Often, these talents go unnoticed, not because they're not there, but because no one ever gave them space to shine. Maybe your parents were too busy surviving. Maybe no one ever asked, "What are you good at?" But deep inside, those gifts didn't disappear. They just waited. Think about it. What comes easy to you that feels hard for others? Do you connect with people quickly? Do you see beauty where others overlook it? Are you the one who brings calm, ideas, or laughter into the room without trying? These aren't just quirks. They may be inherited strengths, passed down through generations. And recognizing them is like uncovering treasure you didn't know you had. To reconnect with your talents, return to what made you feel alive as a child. Did you draw? Sing? Take things apart just to see how they worked? Try doing one of those things again, even for 10 minutes. It's not about being perfect. It's about letting joy, curiosity, and creativity move through you. Your gifts don't need to make you money to matter. They are part of your truth. And sometimes, honoring your talent heals something in your family line. You might be giving voice to someone who never got the chance, or showing the next generation that they don't have to hide who they are. That's how we break patterns, by choosing expression over silence, creativity over fear, and by trusting that the things that come naturally to us are not accidents, they're invitations. So listen closely to what calls you. Because the moment you give your gifts space to breathe, you don't just reconnect with your power. You reconnect with your story, your purpose, and your family's deeper legacy. And that's where transformation truly begins. Now that you've seen all that you've been carrying, the emotions that aren't yours, the phrases that became silent rules, the roles you were placed into without choice, here's the real question. Will you keep living on autopilot, repeating invisible patterns, or will you finally begin to build a life rooted in truth, freedom, and awareness? What you inherited does not define who you are. You can honor the past, feel the pain, and still choose something new. Maybe you're the first in your family to break the cycle. Maybe you are the one who turns pain into courage, silence into voice, fear into freedom. Yes, it might feel hard at first, but it's real, and it's powerful. Think about it. How many dreams were left behind by the generations before you? How many talents were buried? How many fears were passed down, dressed up as protection? Now it's your turn to do it differently. It's your turn to give back what was never yours, to heal what no one else could, and to build something new, your way. So tell me, what belief will you stop repeating starting today? What inherited behavior are you ready to let go of? And what part of your real story are you finally ready to live? If this video stirred something inside you, drop a comment below and share what hit you the most. Let's talk, grow, and heal together. You're not alone in this. And if you want to keep learning, breaking free, and reconnecting with who you truly are, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and stay close. Because what started with them can end with you and be reborn into something lighter, truer, and completely your own.